Pixel 3 has so far been the poster child of smartphone photography, and then came in the Samsung S10 to compete with it. Huawei brought in the P30 Pro to dethrone Pixel 3. I thought let me do a camera comparison and let's find out which of these is the better phone. So I did a comparison between daylight shots, portraits and selfies, and the night shot. Let me give you a hint. Pixel did not win in 2 of these categories. You wanna see how? Let's find out. Let's start with the daylight shots. Give these cameras enough light and you will be surprised the kind of things that they push out. The output is brilliant from all the cameras. Samsung pushing ahead in terms of color saturation, Pixel giving you pretty balanced natural tones, and Huawei has brilliant sharpness in the pictures. But things start to change the moment you start looking for details in the pictures. For example, in this scene, in the shadowed region of this particular picture, Samsung was able to get maximum information under the shadows. Pixel 2 was not very far behind, but Huawei had the darkest image inside the shadow region. I was impressed with the way Pixel was capturing things very naturally and they look very close to what the actual scene was. Now when you try to go close to the subject, that is where Huawei pulls ahead of other 2 cameras. The closer you get, the interesting the picture gets. On P30 Pro, you can see the natural blur coming behind the picture, behind the subject that I have here. The sharpness is amazing, the details pretty impressive on this. Huawei has very versatile camera and it has this amazing zoom to play with. You go all the way in the scene and you see how well the amount of detail it captures of the subject, which was way far away from where I was standing. Still doesn't even go that close as other 2 cameras. But still, I'm impressed with the detail that Huawei captures while zooming so far in. Yes, Pixel 3's images look a little dull and a little dark, but how it comes to its advantage is in scenes like this, when they capture the maximum detail while other 2 cameras are just overexposed and you lose a lot of detail. But if you are onto any colorful scenes, I was really impressed with Samsung's details. The colors are punchier, saturation is good, and you would be able to get pretty nice shots with Samsung's S10 camera. But then again, you would keep going back to Pixel for its natural pictures. But where Pixel actually loses is the wide angle game. Pixel only has 1 lens. Yes, it clicks amazing pictures, but 2019 is more about versatility of pictures rather than just quality of pictures. Let's move on to portrait shots. You will be shocked to see the results here. Even I was not expecting something so dramatic from Huawei P30 Pro. For example, in this scene, if you notice closely, the nozzle on this hand sanitizer dispenser has been blurred out in Pixel 3 and you just don't see the straw coming out of it in Samsung S10 Plus. But Huawei P30 Pro, oh my, the detail is just amazing. You see the strands coming out of the rope here. Those are completely visible in P30 Pro. And the background's also blurred out very evenly. And the foreground and background separation is just so brilliant. Pixel's bokeh is just so aggressive, and I was surprised to see that Pixel losing things while blurring out. It has so far been the perfect phone for portrait shots. If you see, the sunglasses here are blurred out. This was just a shocker for me. I was surprised to see these kind of results from Pixel 3. And then when you talk about selfies, well, let me tell you, P30 Pro has got just 1 camera, whereas Pixel 3 XL and the Samsung S10 Plus both have dual cameras. If you saw my S10 Plus review, I was never impressed with Samsung's front-facing cameras. But then let me tell you, putting it against Huawei P30 Pro was a different story. I could see that how Samsung was at least ahead of P30 Pro, if not evenly matched up to Pixel 3. The lack of dual camera on P30 Pro was quite evident because no matter how hard I tried to get portrait shots on P30 Pro, I just couldn't get any background blur. But where the game changes is the night scenes. Selfies on Samsung S10 look absolutely garbage if the light is not good enough, because the skin is just over smooth and the exposure is absolutely horrendous, and P30 Pro somehow manages to pull ahead of Samsung here. But then Pixel 3, in my opinion, is still the selfie king. Look how the color tones are perfect, look at the sharpness and look at the detail it has captured. And not just that, Pixel 3 enhances the game by putting in a wide angle lens, and Samsung comes with its interesting effects. Give these cameras enough light even during the evening scenes, it would be tough to understand which one's better. But if you look closely, you would realize how Samsung is troubled by its smoothing and loss of detail, whereas Pixel was able to pull ahead in terms of perfect color balance and the real capture of the scene. If there is enough amount of light, Huawei's picture looked a little overexposed in my opinion, but things start to get interesting when you start losing light. All these pictures were taken in auto mode, but then when Pixel 3 XL and Huawei P30 Pro have night sight to their advantage. The moment they kick in, oh my, pictures start looking in so bright and nice. I would still prefer colors on Pixel 3 XL in the night sight. Huawei managed to get the perfect scene in with amazing amount of sharpness and detail, and Samsung was struggling to play catch up here. For example, this picture. Everything on Samsung's picture is so blurred. There is absolutely no detail available. Pixel had the most punchiest of colors, but I think Huawei pulled out the best picture of three by maintaining the sharpness and detail and was true to the natural scene. So where Pixel was really good during daytime, Huawei is better exactly on those things during nighttime. Other part where Huawei P30 Pro excels is the noise. I was so impressed to see that Huawei is managing the background noise so drastically and so nicely. Pixel continued to pull out the brightest of the pictures during the night scenes, but I think I would prefer Huawei's pictures during the night scene. And then again, you have this amazing zoom to play with, which works wonders during the night scene as well. This is another example. This flag was pretty far away from me and I pulled in closer, all three cameras, and you see Samsung and Pixel have very grainy pictures, whereas Huawei P30 Pro managed to get pretty good picture, pretty clean picture of a moving object, a waving flag. This was quite impressive. I kept challenging this camera with the most difficult scenes I could think of. Here I pointed these cameras against a very bright lit neon sign in a very dark area. Most of the cameras will go blind against these things and will not capture anything behind such signs. But I was impressed to see how Huawei has managed to get details in the background on such scenes. But not all's well for Huawei P30 Pro. For example, this scene. When I click these signs from far away, I thought it's another win for Huawei P30 Pro. But then when you get closer to these signs, you realize that how Huawei was not able to manage the exposure here. Google pulled out the perfect balanced image in terms of colors and accuracy, and Samsung was also pulling ahead from the other two cameras in this particular scene. And this, I think, is the only win for Samsung in night photography. This was an absolute dark scene, and when you see another example how pictures grainy with Pixel 3 XL and you just can't see anything on Samsung, but P30 Pro, you can actually read the text which is there in these pictures. This is quite impressive. And here again, you could actually see the flooring here in Huawei P30 Pro, whereas Samsung is just garbage again, and Pixel 3 XL somehow manages to get you a little amount of detail, but nowhere close to Huawei P30 Pro. Now go into the complete darkness, and I think this camera can actually see the things that you cannot even see. Samsung was in absolute darkness, Pixel had a small amount of thing visible there, but then P30 Pro, you can actually see what's lying on my desk here. So overall, I think we have a new night king. That's Huawei P30. So you see how Samsung did so well during the daytime and sucked so badly during the night time. Pixel held its own during the daytime and was somehow comparable during the nighttime as well. Huawei P30 suffered during the daytime because of the color tones, but made up with the sharpness it offered. But during nighttime, oh, that's the perfect category where Huawei P30 mops the floor with any other smartphone until now. Which one do you think is good for you? Tell me down below in the comments, and subscribe to my channel to see more of my creations. Thank you for watching, guys. Cheers.